Are we starting?
We're starting.
Oh, we're starting. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So, I'm Scott.
I'm Sonya.
I'm John.
And so, obviously, we have a new person.
And we are not married. We are not all married. That'd be super weird.
Oh, yeah,
we're married, but we're not married to Sonya.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, we have
Although there's
Sonya.
nothing.
Yeah,
Sonya.
Sonya. Lasagna. You have to remember that.
Lasagna.
Lasagna.
Okay, we have to focus on our podcast.
Okay,
here.
sorry.
So,
It's gonna be a giggling one.
yeah, it is.
That's fine.
So we are, as I said in the previous podcast, I invited my friend Sonya, who's my knitting buddy, and we share a cube wall at work.
Yep, we do.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the goodies that Sonya brought, stuff that she's finished, stuff that she's working on, and then I've got some other things. I'm going to talk about stuff I'm working on. John is not really working.
I'm still on the disabled list,
You're
so
on the
I am
disabled
working
list.
on nothing.
Oh yeah,
all good, yeah.
And Sonya and I are having a glass of wine.
Because we had a pretty rough day at work today.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
It was
it feels like every day is rough at work lately.
every day's a rough day at work. Okay, you want me to
So,
start?
I think
What
what
are
I'm
we
going to
doing?
do first
I should take over.
No, he's
he's going to be the problem.
he's got notes and like we'll follow it.
I know.
roughly.
Well, I tried to prep myself today at work. I was asking questions, but he was like, "Okay." Well, I'm like,
Don't we have like viewer mail?
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do a couple things to start with.
Okay.
That are,
Viewer mail, that's
that
cool.
are, yeah, so I've got notes. I'm going to start with a couple things.
Okay.
It's just gonna be us laughing the whole time. Sorry. They'll be like,
Do I
"What?"
have to
And I'm
be
going to be sitting here
serious?
going, focus. No.
Okay,
Okay, so
I'll just drink more wine.
You know, there's right over there.
As I've mentioned in previous podcasts, one of the big reasons I wanted to do this was to connect with other knitters and other podcasters and all of that kind of stuff. And so
Success.
Yeah,
I wanted
dang.
to mention a couple things that people have written in and thank people for some information and things like that. So I thought it would be fun to start with a question from the viewers.
Oh my.
Ooh.
So there was
Questions from
so
viewers.
Stephanie wrote in, and I don't remember if I got this from Ravel, if she wrote me on Ravelry or on, I think it was on Ravelry. And so she says, "My name is Stephanie and I live and work near and in New York City, respectively. Is John from Brooklyn?" So do you want to answer that?
No. But I used to live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, back before it was cool. No, I lived there from like 97 to about 2003. So, yeah, it was fantastic. And the way I knew my neighborhood was like super gentrifying is because a yarn shop moved into our building.
Oh, that's right. I
Oh,
remember you
wow.
telling me that.
Cool.
But yeah, I love Brooklyn. It was fantastic to live in there. I love New York, but I've been in Minnesota for about 14 years. So
So,
Oh, wow.
so everybody watch this. So where are you from, John, originally?
well, I grew up in Kentucky.
He grew up in Kentucky. He's not from the South. He
No,
he spent there from like 6 months until 18.
My parents were Yankees, so we
Oh,
don't
wow.
we don't
They're
we don't
staying out of
claim
this
it.
one.
Yeah. So John's from Kentucky. I'm originally, I think I've said this maybe in passing, but I'm originally from Albany, Georgia. Actually, Leesburg, Georgia, which is near Albany, Georgia. For those of you that
I don't know
Georgia
what that
at
is.
all,
That's where Betty Ann is.
that's where Betty Ann is.
Yep.
Yeah. And Sonya, you're from Woodbury, Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Iowa.
Oh, that's right. I
Right,
forgot
yeah.
about that.
Born in Iowa, but we moved to the Twin Cities when I was 5. So yes, I grew up in Woodbury,
Yeah. Okay.
and I currently live in White Bear Lake, which is a suburb of St. Paul.
And
So
you
I
might
live
be
in
able to tell which of us is from the Midwest
Minnesota,
and
yeah.
which ones
Yeah,
are
I
not.
hold my O's a lot. But I'm like, yo, how does that go?
Oh,
Sweat?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so
Yep, dead giveaway.
well, there was also another question in here. Oh, you didn't mention, or I missed it, how you came to live in Minnesota. So why don't you tell us how you came to live here?
So I was 28, 29, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And I'm like, I know, I'll go to law school. And so I applied
Seriously?
and got into the University of Minnesota,
Oh, wow, I
and
did
it
not
was
know
a
that.
bad decision. I call it my $28,000 mistake.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I did a year of law school and quickly realized it was not for me. But in the meanwhile, I had moved to Minnesota, and surprisingly really, really like it up here.
Yeah.
So.
That's very cool.
But it wasn't University of Minnesota that was the problem, or the law school necessarily. It was just not a good fit for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So just have to stick up for my alma mater. Although it's your
The
alma mater.
law
too.
school is
It
you
doesn't
don't need to
need
claim it.
Yeah, nobody needs to
Yeah,
stick up
I went
for the law
back.
school.
Yeah, so it's all good.
Yeah.
There you
So and then
I did not go to school there. Ha ha.
Oh no, that's right.
No,
You
that's
went
right.
to-
No, I went to Mankato State University, which is now Minnesota State University, Mankato.
Oh, that's right.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
Don't like it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Hate name changes like that.
Yeah.
Bad decision, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's University of Minnesota Mankato.
No, it's all the Minnesota State schools now. They all used to be like Mankato or Bemidji or St. Cloud. So now they've changed them because it used to be like St. Cloud State University or Bemidji State University. Now they've changed everything to be Minnesota State University,
Minnesota
the name.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I grew up in Georgia, and when I was getting close to deciding where I was going to go to college, I was like, well, there's no way in hell I'm staying in Georgia. No offense to people who live in Georgia. But I lived in a really tiny town, and I wanted to try something totally different and open my mind and expose myself to, not expose myself, but get exposed to other things. And so when I was growing up, my dad had lived in Minnesota, and I had visited him in the summer a few times, and absolutely loved it. It was like Minnesota was like this idyllic, beautiful place.
Very cool.
And so I applied to the University of Minnesota, to the music school and the business school, and got into both. And then started off in both, and then I realized that music was a fun hobby, but not something I wanted to try to make a career at. So got an MIS degree and started working in IT.
Your
and
MRS?
MIS. MRS, no.
The MRS.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's how I ended up in Minnesota. And I graduated and didn't know if I was going to stay in Minnesota. Ended up absolutely loving it and haven't had any desire to leave. So, all right. So, let's talk.
Are those our only questions?
That's
was
our
it?
only. That's our only.
Send
question.
more,
Thank you,
they
Stephanie.
want,
Yeah, there's other stuff to talk about that people have written in, and they're just not questions.
Oh, okay.
So, so we'll get to that later. So, Sonya, why don't you show
Alright, I'm gonna
us
throw my glasses.
whatever you want to show?
Okay, so I thought, because you kind of gave me a prep,
Yeah.
I thought I would first show people how I got into knitting.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So, when I was growing up, I had both of my grandmas, one knitted and the other one crocheted. So, when we would
I
go
didn't
down
know
there
that.
during the summer, we would go to the local Ben Franklin store. For all you people that know what Ben Franklin is, they don't really exist anymore. But anyway,
What was it?
just like a dime store,
Okay.
like I can't even think what else, but just
Was
like
it like a Pomida?
yeah, kind of, but not that big. It'd be like it'd be like a craft store, but they would have different stuff there.
Sure.
So anyway, we would go get one little skein of like sugar and cream yarn, and then my grandma would show us how to knit, and we'd have holes all over. She would just fix it and whatever. So she showed us how to knit dishcloths. So I didn't knit probably all when I was growing up, and when I don't know, a few years ago, I'm like going.
You didn't knit all that time?
No, not
Just
through
when you
high
were
school
little.
and college. Yeah, just
Okay.
kind of when I was little. I'm like, okay, I know how to do this. And then I'm like going, I get bored when I'm sitting at home now, and I'm like going, I really want to, learn how to knit again. So I went and bought a book, kind of retrained myself. So I started making dishcloths. And I have tons of these. I have 2 drawers full of yarn. So I just have a pattern book, and I make tons of different
When I went over to Sonia's
dishcloth
house,
patterns.
when I went over to Sonia's house recently, she just opens the
I
drawers
know.
and it's like
I have
drawers
drawers
full
of
of
stuff.
cotton
So as
yarn.
you can tell, I have probably 65 different patterns of dishcloths.
I need to show you the one that's upstairs because I swear you made it for
I
me.
did.
'Cause-
Yeah.
I
I
gave it
thought
to you
you
when.
said you didn't make it.
No, I did because I made
Okay.
it when you guys
This
said your
one's
house
cool.
warming. Well, that's a pot holder.
That's a pot holder.
I make pot holders too when I get really bored. So the one thing.
So do you knit it long and then?
No, this is crocheted.
Oh.
So you just make like a long crochet chain, and then all you do is crochet a single crochet all the way around, and it makes it just keeps getting bigger, and then you fold it on yourself, and you sew a seam in it.
Okay.
So it's like double thickness or whatever. But yeah, here, John, you like it? You can have it.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's cool.
Score for John.
That'll replace the that mitt thing that got a hole in it. Oh god. He puts it like on his head or
Well, that's okay. So that's kind of what got me started. But the one thing that I really found that was awesome about doing this is I learned so many different stitches on how to knit. And I learned my yarn overs. I learned how to knit together, do SSKs, slip, purl, when you do the PPSO, whatever that's called.
I haven't done that.
Purl, slip, pass it over, and it makes like a twisted thing. There was some with cabling or how to do 2 colors.
I didn't know you did like these advanced things in a dishcloth.
Well, yeah, it's not just knitting. That's so boring after a while.
I didn't realize that. That's cool.
So after I did that, then I was kind of getting bored with stuff. And then I found my knitting store that I like. So we can talk about that later. But anyway, this really got me started. So I didn't get so intimidated. I'm like, okay. And it was a little project. It only took like maybe 4 hours to make a square. And then my mom's friends in Arizona, they're retired and they lived down there. My parents lived down there. My mom would give these as gifts, and the lady's like, "Oh, these are the best things in the world. I love them." And it's like, I would just give her bags of them at Christmas. Here you go, Mom, to hand them out, And then it's like I would start going to the lake. We go to Lake Okoboji in Iowa. And then the neighbors are like, "Hey, did you make some dishcloths? Can I have some?" And I start passing them all out. And then all of a sudden my bin is empty. And they're like, "Hey, can you make more?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you guys. Sometimes I can't make them fast enough." But anyway, that's my first thing.
Cool.
So, okay, go.
So why don't you show us, because you've got several things I want you to show. So why don't you show us one of your finished objects, and then I'll show something of mine.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, let's put that over there. Let's see, finished object. Oh, okay. This is
I'm
kind
just
of
thinking about spreading it out.
Yep. Okay, so this is we're going to be really impressed with this because, so after I did my dishcloths, I found a knitting store that has a really fun group of ladies that knit together on Monday nights. So I went and I took a class.
And we can mention it's Knitting from the Heart.
Yes, Knitting from the Heart in Woodbury, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool knitting store. Elizabeth has tons and tons of variety, and there's always enough supplies to make pretty much whatever project you want to, make when you walk in the door. So I went in there and I took a class. I was kind of looking at yarn. I think the first time you walk into a knitting store, it's really intimidating. Because I'm like, if you don't know anything about yarn, which I didn't, I'm like going, I just want to make a scarf. Well, they're like, well, do you want a chunky scarf or a thin scarf? I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I go, I like that on the wall. Can I make that one? Okay. And then I'm like, and what kind of yarn does that use? I didn't know anything about reading the labels and what needle size. I'm like going, okay, you just buy this yarn and that pattern and go. I'm like, all right, fine. So did that, and then I took a class on how to make some fingerless gloves, and it taught me how to use double-pointed needles and knitting with 2 colors. Yep. Oh my gosh!
So did you make the fingers and stuff too?
No, because it was just
I'm sorry, but there's like it's not a mitten.
Yeah, no, it's a mitten without
fingers,
without the top on it. So like you cut off the top of the mitten, just your fingers would show.
Okay.
So I did that. So then once I took that class, I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I don't have to make dishcloths anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yay. So then I met a couple people in class, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're going to make a sweater. And I'm like going, oh, I can't make a sweater. They're like, yeah, you can do that. So, okay, lo and behold, I have now knit my first sweater.
Oh, so that was your first sweater.
Yes, this is my very first official sweater. So it's called the Rolling Crock, and it took me an entire year between other projects to make. But anyway, so it looks like this on the front. So it's got a button and a little.
I
can't tell.
Yarn...
You guys have to tell me if people can see.
No, they can't. I want to.
Oh, they can't see.
No, the color is not. Sometimes on camera, the color doesn't show up quite right. This is a lighter blue. It's a lot more turquoise than it's kind
showing.
I
see. Well, I think.
See how it's kind of more. But that's okay. Right. It's just a lot more turquoise.
So this was a knit from the top down sweater.
Okay.
So I learned how to do a make one, knit one, and then you split your shoulders out to add in your sleeves. So you attach your sleeves after. So it's like you had to put in your emergency lines and then take stitches off. And then there was a big pattern on the back.
Yeah, this is the part
which is called cool. It's a bottle pattern.
I'm gonna hold it up a little closer.
There you go.
So yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bottle pattern. So
look at that; it looks almost gray, and it's like a deep turquoise.
I think it looks blue, though.
Yeah, no, it does. It's just funny how the camera.
Well, tell
it's
everybody.
The light's right on it, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
There you go. There it is. That's better. Okay, so anyway, tell us more about that.
So this is made out of Ultra Pima cotton, the Cascade Ultra Pima yarn, and I actually started it in a gray color when I first started. had a few mistakes in it, and as I started in it, I'm like, this is butt ugly. I do not like it. So I ripped the whole thing out, and I bought new yarn, and I started over. So I think...
I'm sorry, you started in a different color?
I started this sweater in a different color, and I didn't like it, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to finish this because I hate it so much. You know what it's like? You start something, and you pick a color, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is so not what I wanted, and then you're like, okay, this is not fun to knit it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So the key things that I learned on this, like, make one right, make one left. I learned how to, you know, pick up stitches, because when you're doing the collar
Those
and this...
buttons are perfect.
I know. Whoa, the girls at the knitting store from Knitting from the Heart, I tried it on for them. It actually fit. I still have to block it, but we must have tried it on like 10 different kinds of buttons before everybody in the group agreed that this looks good. So the other things, I learned how to pick up stitches all the way along the edges, do a short row, and then also add all this, you know, the edging
you did the short
along.
row where you like stop in the middle of the row. I haven't done those before.
It's weird. It's kind of a little difficult because you kind of have to you have to pick up a stitch, pull it over, pull your yarn in front, and then knit so it doesn't have a hole in it when you want to switch directions. So your short row would be like you'd go halfway up, and then you have to go back down and then go all the way up. So it's like you turn in the middle of this big section here.
See. Okay.
So it's kind of different, but it actually turned out pretty good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm impressed with myself. My grandma, going from dishcloths to now, Grandma, I knit a sweater. She would be so proud of me. So anyway, that was pretty exciting when I finished it. I just have to block it, but
so did you put in buttonholes, or are those just
no?
decoration?
They're just decoration.
Okay,
I just actually sewed them on, and then this bottom part of the lapel, I sewed on the left side and the right side, and then put this across the bottom and sewed it all. So you can't really split this. I tacked it together. Yeah. So there you go.
That is so awesome. And then it's got ribbing at the bottom. So
ribbing on the bottom.
This is the Rolling Rock sweater. Do you know who the designer is?
Actually, I have my pattern. I threw it in here. Okay, let me think. I threw it in here. It's this one. Oh, whoops, sorry. Rolling Rock. Do we have to go a little closer?
No. Well, we don't.
I won't do that.
Well, the thing is, we don't want to show the pattern because.
People would.
But let me do this.
Okay, there you go.
I'll just show the name and stuff.
Thank you.
Baby Cocktails.
Oh dear, that sounds...
Yeah. But you can find that on Ravelry because that's where
Okay.
So if you just type in Rolling Rock, it'll totally come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Very
totally
cool.
fun. There was a bunch of us at the knitting store that made it.
That's a long pattern, too. And the
well,
lace
it wasn't
charts.
the easiest.
Holy
There was a
crap.
chart. It got a little confusing at different sections when you had to change. There wasn't a whole lot of clear information. We always
looks like
joked
Thea
that
Coleman is who Baby Cocktails is. Thea Coleman.
Well, there you
So,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to do do a better job this time, and I'm gonna put the links to stuff in the show notes. What was it we called it, John?
Show notes.
We
Show
called
notes.
it something else though, so I'm gonna take a note here.
I like show notes.
Show
I'll have
notes.
my wine now. I'm done talking.
Okay, there you go.
Sonya, you need to
Hand
be
me
quiet.
my hand me my yarn now. Okay, so now or my wine. I just said yarn. Now can you hand me the baby blanket stuff?
Yep.
Ooh, fun.
So I have not. So as we go along, you'll see that I've been doing some other projects that I've made a lot of progress on. So I haven't done as much on my baby blanket. I haven't done any on the socks I was doing. But isn't this turning?
Oh
out
my
cool?
gosh, this is so cool.
I haven't shown you this.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, Scott and I do show and tell at work.
Yeah.
He'll bring in his stuff, and then our coworkers look at us like, "Really, you guys?"
Oh, and again,
And it's like,
I'm in the
"Please,
middle of a
what?"
row. So anyway, so this is
That's
where
super pretty.
Crap, you can't really tell, but it's okay. This is where I'm at. So so last time, so just as a reminder, I'll try to find the pattern, and it's some random pattern, and the way that the pattern was written is that there's 2 colors. Well, what I decided is I wanted to do 4 colors. And then when I'm done, you pick up the stitches and it has a 2x2 ribbing for the border,
yeah,
and I'm going to do that in white.
Oh, cool. Yep.
And so when we've been talking in the past, so I've never made a baby blanket. We never had really a baby in the family, and so.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
So since you're doing 4 colors, when you do like 2 rows of like the pink, and then are you just cutting your yarn at the end,
I showed
or
this
are you
last
like,
time,
okay.
but that's.
there you go.
But no, I'm going to show it to you.
Okay, cool.
I
So
didn't
you
really
kind of keep
hear.
picking up your yarn
See what
as
I've been
you go
doing.
along.
I need to figured out, but I've been carrying it up. See?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it looks kind of whatever, but...
Yep.
It's a baby blanket. The baby
It is, and then once you do your white... There is a different way to do it, because you can actually tuck in your yarn. I have to Google it. I have to think of what it is, because I did it when I did my Farrell hat. Oh, I forgot to bring that. I'll bring that next time. Okay. Look at me. I'm inviting myself back. You better like it, because I'm coming back, people.
That's okay.
We have to fill up content somehow.
Exactly.
Right?
All of a sudden I won't have any content.
People are going to write in like, who are those two dumb guys on Sonia's show?
No. Okay. Well, anyway, I have to figure that out. We'll talk about that at a different time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
so funny.
So that's that. And then the thing I was going to mention about that though is that my mom. We'll have a Betty Ann update later. But Betty Ann, I was like, Mom, I don't know how big to make it, and she said make it baby blanket size.
That's a typical mom thing.
I know.
So you just have to make a square that's maybe just like 3 by 3. 3 feet by 3 feet.
So actually I mentioned this in a previous episode, and Robin, who is RS Island Crafts, wrote in and said baby blankets can be any size depending on how it'll be used. Most times a simple 36-inch square is fine.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
And then she said, here's some general sizes, and there are names for them. So, Lovely is 10 inches by 10 inches. Security is 14 by 17. Stroller, 30 by 35. Swaddle, 47 by 47. When I knit a corner to corner like you're doing, I tend to increase until half the yarn is used and then decrease. Oh, cool, and that's exactly what I was thinking, too. But I don't know. We'll see how I feel. So, anyway, I just thought that was really, I didn't realize there were fun names to go with.
I didn't either.
Sizes.
That's good information.
So, RS Island Crafts, I think there's a podcast. I didn't dig too much into it, but I want to thank Robin for that information. There was, oh God, and I'm going to be horrible about this. There was another person who wrote in and gave me some ideas too, but Robin had actually listed the one with the names and everything, so that was kind of fun. So why don't you show us something either finished or that you're working on?
Oh, okay. Well, so now that we
hold the sweater,
here, John, hold my wine and hold my sweater. I'm so sad. Okay, so I think after I graduated from this sweater, every time I walk into Knitting from the Heart, somebody's like, "Hey, let's make this." So now the next sweater I'm making, I'm gonna learn how to do cables. So
it's so much fun.
Oh, I know, they're really cool.
Yeah,
yep.
Cables are fun.
So now I kind of have this in pieces. So here you go. Hold. That's all right. So.
Isn't that yarn beautiful?
Yeah. So this is Malabrigo yarn.
Okay.
So this sweater I get to learn how to. It comes in pieces. So I did.
So what is it made out of that it's got the halo on it?
What do you mean the halo? What are you talking about?
I think halo is the term for when it's like a little fuzzy.
Right.
You see how you can see the fuzz on it?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
And I'll hold it up.
Hold it up to the van. So it's.
Oops. Can't ever do this.
Yeah,
so
I don't.
Cool.
It's like I think it's DK Sport Weight Malabrigo, and to tell you the truth, let's see. Oh wait, I have a skein of it in here. Look at that.
Oh yay!
Yay! Okay, it's Malabrigo, and it's the
Purple Mystery.
Yeah, Purple Mystery.
It's so pretty.
I know it feels super soft though too.
I know.
This is the best.
So is it going to be a cardigan or?
Yeah, it's a cardigan.
Nice.
Okay, so
actually, it's pure merino wool, not superwash.
Okay, pure merino. I don't know. See, that's the part you're much better at that, Scott, than I am, because I just go in and go, "Ooh,
that's
this looks
pretty.
cool." Yeah, it's pretty.
Touch, pretty.
And I go, "Feels really nice." But I really like knitting with the Malabrigo yarn.
Yeah.
It's like super cool. So this is actually a free pattern. So this is
okay.
So I'm making. I bet if you show the picture on there, it's called the must-have cardigan.
Oop, it's backwards.
Backwards,
sorry.
right there.
There we go.
There you go. Must-have cardigan. And it's a little short, but if you go to you can find it on Ravelry, and then it gives you a link.
Who the designer is.
It's a Patron one, Patron.
Okay.
So if you go to Ravelry and type in "must have cardigan," it'll come up, and then when you click on it, there's a link that takes you out to the website, and it'll say download the pattern for free.
Okay.
So let's see. Okay, so I have a few comments about this one because it was kind of hard to get started. But anyway, it's kind of in pieces. So you do a back panel. And then you're going to do a left front panel and a right front panel, and then you'll do your sleeves. So I started on, so you saw what the back was. John's got the other part. This is the other part of this will be the left-hand panel. Okay, go ahead.
So what's that stitch?
Oh, this
That's
stitch over
super-
here.
It's probably super basic. I don't
Let me
know.
take this off.
that seed
Okay, we have to talk about these too because this is like cool tools. You're right. It's kind of a seed stitch. It's called so it's called a moss stitch.
Okay.
So on the right side of the fabric that's facing out, you end up doing, you knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. And then when you're on the wrong side of the fabric, you end up doing, you knit the knits and purl the purls. So you're knitting the same thing.
So
and then
I
it makes
think
that...
So it gets like a checkerboard almost.
Yeah, kind of,
Isn't
yeah.
that what seed stitch is?
Well, seed stitch, you go knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then you just kind of keep doing that in the round. But when you go back, you would do the opposite way. If you were knitting back and forth,
Oh, okay.
I think that's the way it works. I could be kind of wrong, but anyway.
It's
and then,
super cool. I love it.
And then there's multiple cables. So like this one here has like cable front, cable fronts, cable backs, and then it's got the moss pattern in the middle. And then this other stitch here is like a wrap stitch.
I'll hold
And
that up.
then the other one is just like a twisted cable where you do a CB6 or a CF6.
Is this the wrap?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So the little one with like the loop at the end, that's the wrap.
Wait,
And
okay.
then-
It's backwards,
so-
so I can't. It's always like
Yeah.
scratching
so the
my
one
head
that
and
does
rubbing
the
my stomach.
crisscross with the moss pad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scott, that one
This
right
one
up,
here.
Yep,
Oops,
that one
not
with your
this one
finger.
here.
That's where you're either just knitting across a row or purling across a row, and then you do a cable. It's a CB6 or a CF6. So it's a cable back with 6 stitches or a
Oh, I
cable
see.
front with 6 stitches. And then the other one just does a moss pattern in the middle of a cable front 4 or a cable front back 4. So that's how that works. So then, once I get that done, so then I have to learn how to sew it together. And you'll pick up stitches to make the edging of the cardigan go around and make that knitted edge. So yeah, this is going to take me a while. We're doing a knit along with this. I'm not
Well,
very
you've
fast.
done so much already.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I've been working on this for like 3 months in between all my other projects.
Right,
Because doesn't everybody have at least 4 projects going on? Because that's me.
I have 4 right now.
Yeah. 2? Well, that's good. At
But
least you don't have just one.
he's on the injured list.
Right.
Yeah, well,
But
that's
even
okay.
if I weren't, I would probably.
Oh, so has anybody...
One of the recurring themes on the podcast
Yes.
is that John hates to knit.
Yeah, I know that. I don't understand that at all.
I like knitted stuff.
He likes knitted stuff, and he's
you
like,
put
look
your
what I
orders
did.
in here.
Right.
Hey, I want this. Looks really good. Make me
But
one
he
of
doesn't
those.
want somebody else to do it for him. It's not like he asks
Oh,
other people
Right.
to do it for him.
It's very.
John is a
It's difficult.
It-
my mom.
It's my cross to bear.
My mom
Oh, that's
told me
okay.
there's a thing like you're a product knitter and I'm a process knitter.
Uh-huh.
Some people who like to knit, they're
Oh,
process knitters,
yeah.
and the people who want something, it's a product. They're product knitters. I think
so
that's the right
funny.
term, but
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so the one tool that I found that I super like was from Knitting from the Heart. And this is just an aluminum tool, but I bet everybody's seen these, but it's got a rubber end on it, and then it's got like a little incision on it. But you can actually, when you're doing your pattern, you got your
Until
needles.
you've got a medical background, you said it's got an incision on it.
Okay, well I can't help it. You like science.
I'd say it's got this like cut thing. in it.
An incision on the end, an opening on the end. But what you can do is you can put your needles inside here. So as you're, oops, I can't see. There we go. So it protects your needles, and then they don't get all dinged up
And
or
it
whatever.
keeps
And then it
the-
keeps your knitting all
So
on.
what are the
this
needles
game.
that you're using?
I am using, these are carbon Knitter's Private. Well,
The
it's
reason I
weird.
don't like 'em, I
Yeah?
don't like this little part right here.
Oh,
when
you don't like the little-
patches on that.
Oh, weird.
Well, the only thing I've
Then
ever
you knit too tight. I don't know.
well, the only thing I've ever used them for is to put toes and heels in using magic loop.
Oh, and then it probably wouldn't slide very well.
Yeah.
So I have...
But a lot of people love the carbons.
Yeah, no. So I have I really like them, and then I have so these are by Knitter's Pride, and then I have another set of Knitter Pride interchangeable needles, but they're wooden in the middle. So it just depends. I mean, I think...
Does this have the little... Yeah, this has the little hole that you can...
Yeah, and then you can tighten everything up. So I don't know, depending on what yarn I use, it's like what slides best and what kind of knits. So I don't know. Now I become a needle swab.
I'll
snob
show
or
you
whatever.
I'll talk about my needles in a minute.
So anyway, so when this is done, I'll have to like have a little demo, but making progress, but it's been fun. I think the hardest part was getting the pattern started because I had never done cables before. So it's like you read the pattern and it gives you like,
And
here's
cables
how you...
don't make sense.
No, not
They
at
don't
all.
make sense. Like,
No.
why does it go left when you go in front, or the other way around? Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, because it's like you have to pull front or back,
Right,
and then
it goes right or left depending on front and back,
Right.
and that makes no sense.
Well, and it was so when I was trying to figure, it's like, well, and then the thing is, you think about each of your cables.
Cables are witchcraft, isn't
Well,
that?
it's
They really
weird because
are.
then in between each of the cable sections, there was like you had to purl to, and then you start the next
Right.
section, and then you had to purl again before you got to the next section. But it was like, so they give you the moss pattern. They give you like 4, here's row 1, here's row 2 of your pattern, and then there was 2 separate panels of the cable. One had an 8-row repeat, and the other one had a 26-row repeat. So then you had to figure out what row you were on. I actually had to put it on an Excel spreadsheet, and then I had to keep
that's
counting
the
my
one you
rows.
put the
Yeah, so I
spreadsheet
put a
in
spreadsheet
for.
because I couldn't figure it out,
Mhm.
and I was having help with my friend Judy from the store, and she's she's a phenomenal knitter and knows stuff really
I
well.
thought you were gonna say she's not.
No, I would never say that about my knitting friends. No, I might say that about you. So, but it was just so frustrating. She was trying to explain it, but she only kind of knew how to explain it one way.
Yeah,
and then I would keep asking questions, and I couldn't figure it out. I've started this 4 times
Yeah.
before I finally figured it out. And then when I put it on a spreadsheet and I actually saw how all the cables worked and what repeated where, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So
My,
it was fun.
It's like everything that I start that's new, I start it like 4 times. I just know I'm going to start it 4 times.
yeah.
Because it's like, I get into it and then I'm like, oh, that's how I'm going to do it. And then I rip it
Yeah.
off.
And then you're like,
that's-
I didn't like how that stitch
Yeah.
looked, or I made one little mistake, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm getting better at correcting my mistakes, but I need to take a class at the Knitting from the Heart store. They had a, what do you do when you make a mistake? Don't rip it out. Because the other night I made a mistake in this and I ripped the whole thing out. And then Judy's like, what are you doing? I go, well, I made a mistake. She goes, you shouldn't have done that. It would have helped you fix it. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know. So I started over,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But anyway, so that's my next big sweater project. So yeah, kind of exciting.
It's
Yeah.
super pretty. I love
That's
it.
I know,
really
it's kind of a
is.
fun color.
That
She made hers
color's
in gray and
No,
I
I love the purple.
fuzzes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
So it's super warm from
It's
what I hear.
Vikings.
Yes, go Vikings!
Oh,
Yay!
that's right.
So-
See, I know sports.
You do. It's all good.
That's right.
There we go. Okay, I'll throw that.
So,
on
John,
there.
can you hand me the,
Which one do you want, babe?
I want... Oh, I'm sorry. It's right there. It's the fox
Oh.
bag.
Ooh,
Okay, so two
you have all
stories
these fun
in one.
knitting bags. I only
God,
get one.
it's an addiction.
Well, okay, so
Wait.
I've bought like 2 project bags in my life. Betty Ann is the one who gets me all the project bags.
Oh.
Hey,
So-
Betty Ann, send Sonya. Send Sonya knitting
Project
bags.
bag.
Your mom's gonna watch this now and go, that's what Sonya's
Yeah,
like.
that's what she
No
said. She's like,
way.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
That is
But,
too
yeah.
funny.
So,
Okay. Well, when she comes to Minnesota again, I want to get together and knit.
oh yeah.
All right,
For sure.
cool.
We'll have a knit night.
Oh, yay,
For
fun.
sure,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And then you have to knit with us, John.
I don't have to do anything.
Okay, so as
But I
I
might.
mentioned,
Okay, go.
as I mentioned in the
You
last
need to bring me wine.
episode,
It'll be
There we go.
fun.
I'll facilitate the knitting.
the
Sorry.
Wine and noshes.
yes.
Okay.
So as I talked about in my last podcast, there was
It's
an
got magnets in it.
it does. There was an occurrence that occurred. There was an event that occurred. Unfortunate occurrence that occurred of me turning 40.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. We had a big surprise party for Scott.
They had a surprise party at work. I was sick at home, and my boss is like, "Scott, I really need you to come into the office for this important meeting."
That's because the 7 of us at work, we had planned this party for a month. We had food, we had decorations, and then Sandy's like, Scott's sick, and we're like, are you kidding me? I'm like, come on, really, people? So it's like, Sandy, yeah.
Because I have the best boss ever, I was like,
Yeah,
well, it must be really important. She wouldn't ask me, and then I came in and
it's a surprise.
they'd made pulled pork and a cake and pasta salad.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really fun. So anyway, the point of that is that
You
Betty
turned
Ann,
40.
I turned 40, and Betty Ann. So this is what Betty Ann got me.
Cool.
This is a kit. Oh crap! I'm never gonna remember. It was a kit. It was a kit that was put together. It was a collaboration between the daughter of Yarn Cafe Creations, and she has her own thing, and she has a name and stuff, but I can't
She's
remember.
a name?
Yeah, I feel really bad because I don't know. There's a tag somewhere, but it fell off. But anyway, I'll put that in the show notes. But anyway, she the show notes that never happened.
You need to be more organized and give your spiel ahead of time. Do you think everybody's going to want to read your show notes?
Oh, no, the people do.
They
people
do?
read the show notes,
oh, okay,
yeah.
that's cool. I just tell you what I think right out loud.
Well, not only do people read the show notes, Betty Ann's like, here's how you need to do your show notes. She's like, she sends me an email and it's like, constructive ideas or something like that. And I'm like, oh, Lord.
Oh, wow.
She's like, here's how you need to do your show notes. But it was a good idea. So anyway, first of all, the bag is by Mr. Indigo Bags. So that's at Mr. Indigo Bags 123 on Instagram and Mr. Indigo Bags on Etsy. I just think it's the coolest bag ever.
It is super cool.
Super cute.
Okay, so it's got these foxes, and then it's got.
Okay, by the way, I'm going to go to the show notes and write that down now because I'm going to go look at their bags.
Well, and it's this guy, and he's married to somebody who does a podcast. I want to say it's the Periscoping Sisters, but I could be totally wrong about that. Anyway, the inside is this cool blue polka dots, and then it's got. Okay, you can't see the mean look on my face, but so Mr. Indigo Bags, and then
heckling in the background.
I know. I'm covering up your faces so that nobody sees you. So then the collaboration was that the skein of yarn to match the bag was included.
No way, is that how that works?
And see the blue in it, and it matches the inside of the bag. So we need to really improve our lighting situation, and we'll work on that. Yeah. But anyway,
oh my gosh, that is so cool! What a great concept.
And this, I don't know what I think it's probably 75-25, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. But the yarn is amazing, and so the woman who did this is the daughter of the woman who does yarn, who is Yarn Cafe Creations, and she's the one who I've done so many, not so many. I've been knitting for like 5 months, and it's like I've done so many, but I've done 2 pairs of socks, and I think everybody unanimously talks about how soft the Yarn Cafe Creations yarn is.
Yeah, it does feel really good.
So anyway.
I think it's cool that it matches the bag.
I know.
So what's the project?
Yeah.
Well,
is there a pattern? Or?
Yeah. What do you get when you buy the bag? Is the project come?
Oh no! It's just the bag and the skein of yarn.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like some little pre-made thing that
a stuffed fox.
I think
you can make like a fox toy. I bet I could make like a stuffed fox for the new baby out of this.
Ooh, I'd want a pattern with it.
I would do something. I don't know.
So
do you want the baby to eat it? Because that's what's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to make stuffed animals for the baby.
Yeah, I know.
Just stuffed animal. Anyway.
Oh, that's right. Scott's going to be an uncle, and John's going to be an uncle. So
use
fun.
the cheap yard.
No, girl. So anyway,
man.
I might do socks because
fun.
The one of the podcasts that I really like is the Knitters League, and they're doing a knit along and I was going to talk to you about this.
Ooh,
if you would be interested. You don't have to.
Oh my God, like I have enough projects.
I know,
hey, what's one more? All good.
You form teams. And then I think it's by the end of the summer. Yeah, I think it's the end of the summer. Your team has to knit 13 pairs of socks.
Oh, jeez.
So me, you,
we gotta find
mom,
other people. Yeah.
Because my mom's gonna do it. Me and you, my mom, and then you were. I don't think you were gonna do socks. I don't remember who. We have to come up with a fourth person.
Never asked me.
You're sliding off the screen. Don't forget. So anyway,
that's so funny. Oh, you were dead.
You're on the
you're
on the disabled list. That's why. So anyway.
Okay. Well, it's a little. Well, I don't know. Okay, maybe.
So the other.
I'm not committing to anything.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's it's just for fun. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was a shawl that has completely overtaken my life. So.
Oh yeah.
I never thought I would knit a shawl.
Just go check dinner.
Okay, thanks. I never thought I would knit a shawl, and that's just mainly because they seem like a big project, like as far as the size.
Yeah, they're kind of a big thing. Yeah.
And I'm probably never going to wear a shawl unless it's a smaller shawl that I wear as a scarf or something like that. I was thinking, well, if I ever make one, it'll be as a gift.
You can make one for your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
So,
Betty Ann, put in your order.
No, don't encourage Betty Ann.
She's gonna go, Scott doesn't knit fast enough? Sonya, you make me one. I'll be in trouble.
Exactly.
Oh man.
I wish I
Okay,
could
sorry.
clear that. There's a message on my screen. I wish I could clear it off. Anyway.
We have something today at 8:30 p.m.
That's my massage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
So anyway, I have a friend who is sick, and
That's sad.
yeah, and so I'm not always good with words, and so I'm like, well, what can I do for this friend to not just say that I'm thinking about her, but like to actually spend time thinking about her. And so I thought, well, if I make her a shawl, then whenever I'm making the shawl, I'll be thinking about her, and then she won't be expecting this from me, and it'll kind of boost her spirits, you know, because it's better than like, hey, I hear you're really sick. You know, it's just I don't know how to express that. So I went to work, and I was talking to Sonya about it, and you helped me find a pattern.
I did. Yep.
The pattern is awesome. It's called, I'm going to put in a picture. Oh, this will be fun. So I'm going to put a picture in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really fun. Just point to the picture.
Oh, point. Oh,
It's right
oh, this
here.
is so bizarre. It's like half.
But later
right?
when I edit it, the picture will be there.
Oh, cool.
So anyway, I'm going to
okay, right there.
Right there. So I'm going to put the picture in. So it's called the Byatt Shawl, which is based on an English novelist named A.S. Byatt, who is a woman, who I wasn't familiar with her stuff. And you can't really, the reason I'm going to put in the pictures because you can't really tell from this what the shawl looks like. The thing I like about the shawl is that it has one main color that most of the, it's an asymmetrical triangle, and most of the triangle is a main color, and then overlapping it at the bottom is a grid in a secondary color, and then below the grid is a lace pattern that is just the secondary color.
It's gonna be so cool.
I think it's really going to be cool. So it's by Katie Westerman. And so got it off Ravelry. I have a project page on Ravelry. But I want to show the yarn. So those of you who've watched the previous podcasts, I think it was the first one, we talked about the yarn that we bought in South America. And so this yarn is it's
cool.
Manos del Uruguay.
What does that mean?
Which Hands of Uruguay.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And it's their silk blend. So it's actually 70% wool and 30% silk.
Ooh.
So it's, the thing about that is
it feels really nice.
It feels really nice, and it's really strong.
Oh, wow,
But
cool.
I'm using metal needles.
Oh.
So silk and metal needles equal slippity slidey all over the place.
Oh, they're slipping all over. Yeah.
So I think that's where I think something like the
if you did the
carbons.
carbon ones, or used if even like wood ones or whatever. But I think that just takes practice as to what you like to knit with.
And the ones that I'm using are my interchangeables, which are chow goo, and I absolutely love the chow goo.
I've seen those a lot too, and it's like I just haven't tried them. I don't know. I tried these and they work for me so far.
I'm going to show you where I'm at.
Yep.
So, oops.
Dinner's ready. No.
Dinner is ready.
Oh, really? Oh.
So
Jimmy John's in the car on the way here.
Oh.
I was like,
I don't even know if ours is going to be edible though, because it's
it's
old frozen chili.
It's good.
Okay.
A chili never gets gross. It's always good.
So here's how far I've gone.
That is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it knitted. I mean, however they dyed the yarn and with the different stripe patterns, it's cool because the gold is like. It's a nice garter stitch pattern.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
So the increases are one I haven't done before, but I think everybody knows it. That's done increases. It's the knit yarn over knit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then on the other thing is on
sometimes
this
there's
side,
ones that you knit to the front and knit to the back to do an increase too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing in my sweater that we'll talk about in a minute.
Uh-huh.
But the one thing
at the edge on it.
it's a slip stitch on the end. So I think that must be what causes that pattern.
Yeah,
I made a mistake there, but I'm not worried about it.
Okay, no.
So that's going to be the main color, and then oh my gosh, the most beautiful yarn I've ever seen is the other.
Is that Linus?
That's Junior.
Junior Linus. To me, they look the same.
They're both white.
He's sniffing my knitting bag because he's like, "There's new stuff in the house. What's going on?"
So this is the secondary color.
Ooh,
isn't that beautiful?
That is really cool.
It's Malabrigo Liquid Gold.
Liquid Gold.
Is the name
I
of
like
it.
that.
So,
that is gonna be gorgeous together.
I think so. So, and then, so the Malabrigo yellow gold, liquid gold, I was going to show.
Is it just those 2 colors then for that
Yeah.
shawl?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. We're going to go back a step.
Okay.
This yarn, I found the tag for, where did it go?
Right here. This stuff?
No,
The
I'm
box
sorry.
is right there, babe.
Okay. So this yarn that I was talking about that I got as a gift from my mom, that was the Daughter of Yarn Cafe Creations Dragon Horde yarn.
Dragon Horde?
Dragon Horde. Tristan Molina. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Finger. What does it say?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Fingers
go to
of
the show
Fury.
notes and start taking notes now.
Yeah,
Wow.
Fingers of Fury. Actually, it's Dragon Horde yarn, but her Etsy shop is Fingers of Fury.
Okay.
So, A Tale of Two Foxes is the name of the yarn,
Yes.
and it's $75.25. So,
Of what, merino war?
superwash merino and nylon.
Got it.
So
Nice.
anyway, sorry. Back to the liquid gold Malabrigo. Let me find that real quick. Here it is. And I'm sorry, it's not Malabrigo, it's Madeline Tosh. It starts with an M.
Hey, it's all the same. Oh.
Madeline Tosh.
Madeline
And then
Tosh.
it's her Tosh Merino Light. 100% merino wool. Fingering weight.
Oh my gosh.
Liquid gold. So,
Yeah.
here's my question.
Yeah.
It's
all
not a
I can say
question.
is Scott's really good at like watching tons of blogs because he comes to work and he knows a ton about yarn, and I just stick with the same stuff. Or yep, this yarn will work with this project. I need to learn a little bit more, but it's all
Well,
good.
it's
My
just
stuff's
because I
fun too.
enjoy it. So.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I learn a lot from you when you come in and we share stories about that. It's awesome.
So okay, so here's the thing I like about podcasts is when
Yes.
people get into like the struggles that they had and how they figured them out and stuff.
Yes.
So here's the deal. So meeting gauge. So
Oh, yes.
the pattern calls for 100% wool, 366 meters or 400 yards per 100 gram skein.
Yeah.
Well, this yarn, this Manostel Uruguay silk yarn, is much thicker than that. It's more like a sport weight.
Oh.
So it's per 100 gram skein, it's 300 yards as opposed to
Okay.
400
yards.
so.
So you need to make your stitches a little tighter.
Well,
I don't know.
so
I
the
do
way
gauge
when I've watched videos about finding gauge is you. Okay, I've got to figure out how to say this. So if you, let's say, so the pattern calls for 20 stitches per 10 centimeters.
Right. Yeah.
So if you've got a thicker yarn, you need to use smaller needles.
Yes. So you have more stitches per centimeter.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because your yarn is thicker. Well, I ended up actually having, so it calls for 4 millimeter needles.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a size 6, I think, US 6.
Yeah, something like that. I think you're right.
I ended up, but in order to meet gauge, I actually had to go up to an 8.
Well, you know, that's where I get confused too, because I know people when I'm in my go to the knitting store. Grady's here.
Oh, I don't think they've seen our dog.
Well, they're not going. He's walking away.
Terrified.
Oh, he's scared now. But that's probably because of my hair, and he doesn't see me all the time.
Yeah.
No, so when people come into the store and get that gauge, it's like sometimes you do have to go up needles or down, but I don't know how that exactly works.
Well, I do know that when I started, I did a 6, and I was like, well, I'm going to see where I'm at with a 6.
Yeah.
And I knitted a swatch, and it ended up that I had too many stitches per 10 centimeters.
Oh, yeah, then you would have to go up
So I
because then
went
you
up.
know, yeah, that makes
So I
sense.
went up to a 7.
Yeah.
Did it again, still had too many stitches. Went up to an 8. And I'm like, okay, so my yarn is bigger or thicker or whatever. You would think I would need to go small. Anyway, it's I met gauge, and I think it's going to be... Now, the one thing I'm worried about is that this yarn, this gold yarn, is much thinner. It's a fingering weight.
Compared
and
to this. Yeah.
It's a...
But you know what? It'll give it some really cool
here's
texture
my question.
dynamic to it. I don't know. Think about Stephen B. He always says that. He goes, "Oh, just make it wild."
Yeah, that's
or whatever.
true.
You know, he's like, switch it up and change up your yarn a little bit.
This yarn is 420 yards per 100 grams, which is smaller or thinner than the yarn that it calls for. So here's my question: when I need I need to start doing this, do I continue to use the same? I mean, I have to use the same needles in part of it where it overlaps because you're knitting with both of the colors.
Yeah.
Both of the yarns.
Right.
So
and then when
will
you
it
get
be
to just
okay with this smaller yarn? I guess it'll have to be.
You'll still have to. I don't know. Okay, here's me guessing because I'm not sure. And all those people are watch it.
I'm hoping they'll give feedback.
I think everybody will give you feedback. Otherwise, you might want to switch your needle on that. I do some gauge on this before you add it in to this one just to see how it knits up and what it looks like. Because I know sometimes there's everybody. Okay, so now we'll go off on a tangent, but there's that big popular thing now. They're called those Zauber balls or whatever, the Zauber balls. I don't have a label with me, but it's really thin fingering yarn and it's got multiple different colors, but it's like there's lots of patterns and stuff out there. But people say, they'll say like use a US 2 or a 3, and then they're like, we'll switch it up and use like a 6 or 8 and see what your pattern looks like.
Sorry, you're not allergic.
Okay. No, I'm not allergic. Okay. We'd be like, no, it's all fine. It's all good. Oh,
that's the teaser picture right there.
His face swollen shut. So
so I don't know how to answer that question for you. I'm not really good at that, but
so we'll see. I mean,
it's going to be pretty. No matter what you do, it'll be beautiful based on how the pattern is, because you have that lacy pattern with the liquid gold on the end. It'll be beautiful.
Yeah. So that's what I'm spending a lot of time on.
It'll be super fun.
So why don't you show us your next thing? Oh wait, let's see if there's any other things I wanted to mention while you're digging that stuff out.
Okay. Yeah, get that out of there.
Oh,
I couldn't.
Oh no.
One thing I'm going to mention while Sonya's doing that.
Sorry. Oh, here we'll do a couple of these.
Is a couple shout outs to people who made comments. Diane, who lives in the UK, in relation to a previous comment I had made about the woman that I met on the Falkland Islands who didn't know what I was talking about when I was talking about yarn. One person from the UK earlier had said most non-knitters would call it wool. But the woman in the UK said that usually people refer to yarn of any kind as wool, even if it's not made of wool.
Oh,
so interesting. So they say maybe a skein. Of course, the other thing I've noticed is that people from other countries, especially the UK, they pronounce it skein.
Oh, a skein?
So like skein queen.
Oh, I don't know.
There's somebody called skein queen, and they say skein instead of, we call it skein.
Skein. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. And then the other thing I was going to mention.
right here. You just can't see him.
Yeah. You can see his ear.
Yeah.
I'm not just randomly scratching.
Pretty good if he's. I mean, normally people freak him out. It's just
the other thing is that
he wants to be a
star.
There's several people who talked about who
Junior's
responded
really
to.
curious about my bag, like that stuff.
When I had mentioned,
take him home. Sorry.
That's okay.
You're welcome to him. Quite frankly, he's a little.
No, because my sister couldn't come see me because she's definitely allergic to cats. It wouldn't.
Okay, John, we're focusing now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Animals.
You're distracting Sonya. Frogging. We had talked about frogging in the past and what that means, and so my mom reminded me that it's rip it, rip it, rip it.
Oh.
So when you get rid of a project, it's called frogging.
Oh, okay.
Rip it. And then the next note on here is the Betty Ann update, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, the Betty Ann update.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Well, let's see.
God, this is so beautiful.
So
I know you don't particularly. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead.
No,
I
that's
just think
okay.
it's beautiful.
So, like I said, when I go into Knitting from the Heart, everybody's doing a new project. Hey, let's try this. So this is one of those Zauber balls. No, this is I take that back. I made a scarf.
And I thought this was a shawl, so.
Well, it's kind of like a scarfy shawl. You just kind of, I haven't blocked it yet, but it's kind of just a little, I haven't quite figured out how to wear it. But anyway, this is called the Hitchhiker pattern. Mm-hmm. It's on Ravelry. And it's by Stitch Mitch. I think the lady lives in Germany. I can't remember what her name is, but she's got some really fun patterns. They turn out really beautiful. Easy knits, It's just a few little
is that
increases.
Garter?
Yep, pretty much. Garter stitch the whole time. And then it's made out of that unique yarn. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of self-striped as I made really the scarf. Cool. So yeah, it can go with tons of different stuff.
And it feels like it's wool.
It's wool. Yeah.
Like 100%
yeah.
wool.
Yep. And the thing is, I did run out of yarn. I missed like 2 additional points that are down here on the bottom. So I just got to stop. So I need to block it yet. As you can tell, I don't like to block anything. I should pay people to block my projects.
Why not?
I don't like doing it. I don't feel comfortable.
It's like
I know it's like the finished thing, but
no. It's like it transforms it.
I know. I know. Yeah, ta-da, and I hate it. I would pay people to block my pattern for it. But I actually want to take this and I want to block it and like stretch it out so it becomes a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So I have to work on that. Yeah, if I would be on call
How
and
do you do
like
the little? How do you do the little ends?
the ends?
The little
That's-
points.
The points actually became part of the pattern. So when you got to the end of the row, you would like increase so much, and then when you started the next row, you would like bind off some, and then it made the point, and then you would go to the end and add and bind off, and then add and bind off. So yeah, I'll show you before we leave.
So we're back.
We're not showing that tonight. Next time. I can't believe I'm coming back for another one.
We're already talking about the next episode time is coming. So,
oh, well, wait, let's finish talking about this one. I can't remember.
We're doing the points.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about the points, adding and deleting. But like I said,
this
was
is the
just called
Jughead app doing that.
well, so Sean.
So
Frank,
Hitchhiker pattern on Ravelry.
Hitchhiker
Yes.
pattern. Sean did the Jughead hat.
Yeah.
Well, that would be kind of fun. That'd be cool.
Have you watched the new version of Archie?
No.
It's really good. But anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Difficulty. Scott wants me to leave. I'm just kidding. Yep, get her out of here. She's done.
Right.
Okay, so am I going to show my sweater now?
Yes, you are going to show your sweater. I'm done with show and tell. That's it for now. Woo!
Okay,
but there's so much more.
We have a lot more.
I know, it's so fun.
Just to let everybody know, we have a lot more to show. I'm getting a massage. So,
I have to go home and watch Survivor because it's the big finale tonight.
Oh, that's right.
Don't get spoiled. Go into like the media blackout.
Well, I have it on my DVR thing, so I don't ever. I just have it taping. I
So,
fast forward through the commercials and it'll go quick.
Yes.
So for my sweater, this is the saga of Scott's first sweater. So last episode, I talked about the fact that I held this thing up, and maybe I'll insert a thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Here is where I'm at with my sweater. This probably looks like less than when I started. And it is. So I've made a lot of progress. Let me figure out where the top is. So
Look at that. Oh, I'm excited because I've heard about this at work. Oh my gosh, your color work. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sonya, zip it. I'm so sorry.
So I haven't cast off the sleeve stitches yet, but it's much more my size for one thing. I've tried it on a couple times. And the skein, or the other sweater, I've already used all the yarn into this other sweater. So the other thing I'm going to talk about, I've made a disaster of this. I'm such a mess. But anyway, one thing I wanted to mention was in the last time, I asked about, with the raglan increases, I'm getting these holes. And it has to do with, I can't remember exactly, but somebody commented on one of the videos and said, I think it was OS is their username, and they said OS, or operating system, that's what I thought of.
Oh, there you go.
They gave me a link to a Very Pink Knits tutorial or video or whatever for...
Hang on.
Can you please kill our cat?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What happened?
He's eating... We have an Afghan over there, and he's eating the yarn off the Afghan.
Oh, jeez.
It's like they think it's...
Worms.
or I was going to say grass, but...
Or
then
intestines
they're going to be
or
puking
something.
up... Yeah, you don't want to
They
get sick.
No,
Little
he'll be fine.
tummies. Okay.
So he didn't. We catch him in time. So we usually hide it into that basket. But anyway, Very Pink Knits, and it's called Alternative to Knit Front Back, and it's a very easy alternative. But it doesn't. I'm gonna try that. I'm done with the raglan increases, so I don't have any more to do in this one. I'm gonna try that. So I want to thank operating system for.
Oh, that's cool.
For that.
Litter box?
I am not cleaning the litter box for you.
But it'll block your stuff, though.
So
yeah, you block my stuff, but I'm not doing the litter box.
Because of the fact that my sweater is, not. I haven't had enough drama with it as it is. I was like, I know what I'll do, because it's the patina pullover from Rib Magazine, and it's I don't think there's a picture of it on this, but anyway, it's in Rib Magazine issue 1.
You can show the thing
show the
from
diagram.
last. No, from last time you showed the thing. So.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just a top-down sweater, and then once you get past the yoke, it's just you knit the body. You just knit it in the round.
Yep, knit it in the round.
So I decided, wouldn't it be cool because I talked about this book last time, this book of Fair Isle knitting, that has like 1 million charts in it for Fair Isle, for color work. I'm like, wouldn't it be fun if I incorporated some color work into my sweater? So what I did was I went in and I found an standard Argyle pattern that I really liked. And I was like, well, how many stitches do I have that makes the front of the sweater? And I'm like, well, I have 98 stitches. So I'm like, well, I need to find a thing where there can be a repeat that basically equals 98 stitches. So I found one that basically was 96 stitches. And I then just added, each stitch on either end was just going to be a regular main color stitch. Yep. So I took this grid and the lines I drew around the repeat of the chart, and the highlighter tape is where I'm at in the pattern or in the chart. And so what I'm doing is I'm incorporating that color work into you can't see it. Hang on. Into the front of the sweater.
That is gorgeous. I love
fun?
It. Super cool. So how much are you gonna go? How much blue? How much are you just like make a stripe?
I'm gonna do this much.
Show them. The audience.
Oh.
Yeah. Scott's showing me. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna do, which would basically be two of the diamonds.
Okay.
Depending on.
See what it looks like. You might want to add a third.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might be a third.
It might be kind of
the other thing is I've got to
cool.
knit all this stuff, so it's like it makes it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I was really proud of was that.
I know what I wanted to ask you something.
Oh no, I'm jumping ahead. Mm-hmm. The thing I wanted to ask about this is, I wanted some advice. So, because of the fact that I'm putting this color work in the front, I didn't want to. I couldn't find a yarn management strategy that I liked because I didn't want to do.
You know what you could do?
What?
Use 2 skeins.
What do you mean use two skeins?
I don't get it.
I don't think that'll work.
Never mind. That's not
so.
Good. Sorry.
John just had a stroke. Very. I know. You could use 17 skeins.
You could.
I don't get it. I'm like, how are you gonna make that work? I do have a question about. Okay,
let me talk about what my
idea
idea
we're all
was.
over the board, people. So sorry, a little distracted.
Yeah. So that's okay. That's what this is all about. So I'm like, well, I don't want to do a row, then cut the yarn.
Right.
Have to weave that in. Then next time it comes around,
right.
Start a new thing. So then I was like, well, so the other option is carrying my yarn all the way, but then you end up with that yarn carried all the way through the back of your sweater because you're knitting in the round, so I didn't want to do it here and then have to carry it all the way around.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because then I'm carrying the yarn through the back
and because you're not
and eventually through the sleeves.
Oh,
like,
that's
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I said you're only.
So what I've been doing is I've been.
Yeah, because it looks like you're doing a good job of picking up every. I think there's some rule about like 3 to 5. Don't go more than 5 stitches or whatever. But you have it really even and you don't have it tight. That looks really good. Well, but I don't know what you would do on the back
what
either.
I'm doing is I'm taking a piece of yarn that is twice the size that I need for one row, and then starting in the middle.
Okay.
So that the first row I use this piece of yarn, and then the second row I use that piece of yarn, and that's fewer ends to weave in.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. Huh.
This is something people that do color work probably already know, but what I've discovered is that when I get to the end, when I'm back to just knitting the main color and I'm done with the color work.
Right.
I hold the color work color in my hand and knit. And then move the yarn in front, the secondary color in front and knit, and then move it in back and knit. And what that does is it weaves it in as you go, so that you don't have to weave it in later.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to think. Because I know I did one Fair Isle hat, and I had 6 different skeins of yarn, and then it had a pattern like what you did, and like you'd go like one row, you'd have like. Sometimes you use like 3 different colors in there, and you'd have to keep adding them on. But there's a way to pull your yarn in front. like do a knit stitch and wrap it around the back. So whether you are on the front or the back, I can't remember what the stitch is called. I had to Google it a couple of times. But it actually, then you just kept moving your yarn around. But yeah, the one on the back, you had a good idea. I think, I mean, you figured something out, but I wouldn't have known what to do on that backside when it was just the main color of your sweater.
Well,
I've never
it's working.
done that.
Because of the fact that I figured out how to weave it in as I go,
right.
then I'm not going to have ends to weave in the end.
Yeah,
so is it
I know,
time?
that's awful.
We should
wrap it
Okay,
up.
we're going to wrap it up. So we have so
time to
many
wrap
other
it up.
things to talk about, but we're going to wrap it up. So anyway, maybe it'll be further along. So anyway, action items for the end of our meeting.
Oh, okay. I don't
Give
want
us
any.
feedback on
Oh, you can't.
Sonya. Clean the litter box.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Action items. I would like to know what people think about yarn management for this colorwork project. What were some of the other things that I'm trying to think. Were there other things we wanted feedback on? I know there were, but I'm forgetting what they are.
Maybe the people will watch it and remember for us.
Or I'll put it in the show notes. Here are the assignments for everybody to get back to us on.
Okay,
So anyway, thank you so much for coming. This has been
It
so
was
much
super
fun. The
fun.
problem
I
is
had
you're
a
going
good
to have to
time.
come back because you've got...
I know, I have a few more projects
we
to
just
share.
scratched the surface.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be fun. I'm learning
Yeah.
all the time. It's awesome.
And John, maybe you'll knit sometime.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn a Portuguese knit. That's
That's right.
That would
Because
be
somebody
cool.
recommended that with his
Oh,
with my
so
hands.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, there we
that'll
go.
be super fancy.
Betty
Yeah,
Ann would
super
think that was the most awesome thing ever.
Super cool.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, well,
All right.
thanks everybody.
Bye, buddy. See ya.
Bye.